Hey everybody, what's going on? Arm and Hammer here. That right there is Justin LaFranco with the Morning Chalk Up, and welcome to this episode of On the Minute. Today we're going to be taking a look at maybe a couple of, the Open is really interesting and exciting, but maybe we should take a step back, maybe a couple steps back, and talk about more tangentially related things to the Open. Not necessarily who's winning what workouts, but what's working and what isn't. So I think the first place we should start, Justin, is you guys, Morning Chalk Up, were just at the 19.3 announcement. You got a chance to talk to Lauren Fisher, Alessandra Pacelli, two top athletes in our sport. And you had an interesting interaction with Lauren Fisher regarding kind of the state of the sanctionals in general and where she thinks there could be some improvement. Talk to me here.
Yeah, so we really posed this question to Lauren because she's a legacy games athlete. She's come from early on, and she's been in the system for a really long time, and she's got a unique perspective. And she's seen the sport grow from sort of this, not the early days of CrossFit Games, but sort of came in, I think was 2013 was her first year at the Games. So she's really seen it kind of grow up over the last several years. So here's what she had to say to Tommy Marquez. Quote, "I really like this qualification process, getting everyone behind the scenes, getting everyone on one page, and maybe having like an Olympic committee, and they're the ones deciding these sanctioned competitions, what the events are going to be. They're deciding the workouts rather than just going to the sanctionals and having them decide what the workouts are going to be. I think that if there's one committee, kind of secretive committee, deciding all the workouts, that would be really good for the sport. Maybe end up paying judges and making it more of a professional sport." So that's what she said. The context was, we asked, hey, what do you think in the next 3 years needs to kind of happen inside of the sport of CrossFit for improvements? And she put up this kind of idea of an Olympic-style committee, which I think is a really interesting idea, Armin.
Absolutely. This is something that I've brought up with multiple event organizers. Every time I get a chance to talk to them in person about this, I bring up this concept of the sanctioned events themselves becoming their own governors. And what we've seen in the past through CrossFit HQ and their control of the CrossFit Games season is that the top-down approach is not necessarily conducive to all of the explosive growth that people would hope for in the long term when it comes to CrossFit as a sport. And while there has been a lot of benefits to having that type of top-down control, now that the sanctioned events themselves can sort of be their bosses, I think it's up to them to come together and create almost exactly what Lauren Fisher is talking about here, this sort of governing body or coalition of events that can come together to sell the rights for their broadcasting, sell some media rights for their coverages, as well as decide something that you and I have been talking about a lot, best practices when it comes to defining what makes a sanctioned event effective at selecting for the top CrossFitters in the world.
Right. And I think that what every competitor, coach, fan out there wants at the end of the day is an equal playing field across all of the sanctioned events and across the sport. And I agree with Lauren here in the sense that I think that CrossFit is providing sort of this umbrella architecture for how the sport is going to exist and kind of gives it that sandbox to play in. But from our conversations, it doesn't seem like CrossFit wants to be this NCAA to CrossFit or an Olympic committee to CrossFit, other than what they're doing right now. And so, it's hard to imagine sort of who would step in and be the layer here, but it does. But Lauren's words really do speak to, perhaps what might be a good solution. I don't really know how that's going to come about. I'm not really sure who steps in and fills that role at this given time, but it's interesting. It's an interesting idea, and I think it's one that athletes and stakeholders should be talking about a lot as this season is unfolding and thinking into next season.
The real rub here comes from trying to figure out exactly the answer to that question, Justin. It's who is going to step up to do this, because the what seems to be, at least to me, quite clear. The sanctioned events need to come together in order to have some sort of greater bargaining with outside entities when it comes to sponsorships, broadcasting rights, etc., but also come together to internally regulate what it is that they're all individually up to.
No, I totally agree. I think it's just a discussion point, that needs to happen at the highest level. as new sanctioned events are looking to come on board, as more conversations are being had about broadcast rights, et cetera. Lauren brings up a good point. I just think, I think that the powers that be, in the industry should be really talking about it and just deciding, hey, what do we want this to look like in 3 years? I know a lot of people are just trying to get through the year right now, but I think it's an important question.
I'd love to see down the line, the money increase to the point where the judges are paid even a nominal fee. The judges being paid, not just being given, a swag bag with a t-shirt and some free lunches or potentially even a pair of shoes or something. Just being paid, I think, would go a long way to professionalizing and legitimizing a lot of the experiences that athletes are having on site at sanctioned events, especially the largest sanctioned events out there that have hundreds and hundreds of volunteer judges really kind of being the glue that holds this thing together. Now, looking forward, I think one of the biggest things that we have now that we're about 60% of the way through the 2019 CrossFit Games Open is an idea of where the top athletes in the world are sitting and how maybe 19.4 and 19.5 might play out. But to speak to the first 3 weeks of the CrossFit Games Open, something that has been a sticking point, I think, for the potential sort of smooth execution of this entire thing has been and will continue to be video submissions. And I don't know what the good solution is to this, but I certainly can see a problem and spot it when it's there. And Justin, I think you have an interesting take on where this problem lies and sort of where the onus is to maybe fix it.
So the context here is that in 19.1, Snorri Fjagason, who ended up being the winner of that workout, he did not record his video, and so he didn't get paid the $2,019 that he would normally have gotten paid for winning that workout worldwide. Now, what it really brought up, as far as in my mind, what struck me was really interesting is in this day and age in CrossFit, how are you not recording your video? And there seems to be somehow a little bit of a disconnect between top athletes on this. And we've seen people who always release their videos and seen people who sometimes release their videos, and then we've seen people who never release their videos. My personal opinion is I think that everybody should just release their videos. I think that you should be above reproach when it comes to the reps, and I think that if you're going to put it, if we create at the top a culture where everyone's going to stand up and say, you know what, look, like, turn the comments off on those if you want, but hey, I'm going to put that out there. I have nothing to hide here with my performance. This should just be normal, run-in-the-mill, business as usual, recording and submitting and uploading your video. That's my opinion. I still can't believe that there are people at the top of the sport that are going to post a score like that and not recording their video, but apparently that's still the case.
It's fascinating to me that for 47 weeks out of the year, we have such great high quality videos and images of people's exercise and their workouts, and people's Instagrams and social medias and YouTube channels are just full of a plethora of high def workout videos. And yet 5 weeks out of the year, when the CrossFit Games Open kicks off, everyone's phones suddenly only record in potato quality, and every camera can only be 45 feet away from its subject. And so I'm not 100% sure what black hole we live in here, where the Open cannot use high quality cameras, but I'm certainly more than aware of the problem here. And you're right, in the perfect world, in an ideal world, athletes at the top would be leading from the front and putting out the videos that are showing that not only are they the best CrossFitters on the planet, but they also move incredibly well. They hold the standards when it comes to their movement, and they don't cut any corners. And what we do see in the real world is a whole lot of just confusion and haze. I think it's not an accident that we don't see 95% of the videos that these athletes are taking of their performances. And hats off to the athletes that are publishing their performances, especially the ones that are putting any sort of real production into it to show off exactly what is going on. I mean, we saw Rich Froning, for example, in 19.2 take the winning time in the world and get, I mean, roasted is kind of not the right term, but there were a lot of people nitpicking like a handful of missed double under reps.
Right, like 2 or 3, which he should have done the 2 or 3. Let's be completely clear about this. But he did withstand quite a bit of criticism over that, and CrossFit actually, to their credit, reduced his score. He still got the first worldwide as a result of the reduction.
Looking forward, though, unfortunately, there is a little bit of responsibility shared with CrossFit as well. And the reason why I say that is if you look at a workout like 19.3, you are essentially asking for a disaster when it comes to creating any good video evidence of your workouts. And the reasoning is really simple. You have a 25-foot segment that someone could set up 30 feet away from the wall where they're doing their handstand push-ups. And it's something that we saw last year. And while the standard for handstand push-ups has been simplified and therefore should ideally be a little bit easier to catch, we saw right off the bat after the 19.3 announcement, Adrian Bosman coming up on the official CrossFit Games Instagram saying, hey guys, you missed the mark on some of these standards.
Which was a great idea.
Absolutely important.
They really did need to do that. And I think it was smart of them to come out early and to correct the record on what constitutes an actual rep for a strict handstand push-up. That was smart.
So here's the question I have for you, Justin. Now that we know that the rep range of motion required for a strict handstand push-up is quite strict. It's a range of motion that we haven't seen, really enforced in the open aggressively. That open hip at the top is something that we've essentially seen brushed under the rug in many, many circumstances. Do you think that we're going to see a whole lot of penalized scores because of that range of motion issue, or is it yet again not going to be talked about?
Well, based on what we've seen over the last 2 weeks of open review at the top, they've penalized almost every score at the top so far. I believe 3 out of the 4 winners have had score corrections, and then individuals who perhaps would have been the winner or right up there at the top have had some major and minor penalties. So if I'm going to go with that as to where the trend is going, I'm going to say absolutely. I do expect that there are going to be some adjustments to the score at the top. How much? It's impossible for me to say because we don't have the videos, right? So it's going to be hard for me to make an estimation there. But my guess is that, if they've been doing that to Rich Froning, and if they've been doing that to Brooke Haas last week, and some of the other athletes, then I expect it this week too.
And I think therein is the biggest hurdle to actually getting everybody's videos. The athletes at the top are there to win. They want to get paid. They want to get that W. They want to get that first place.
Oh, and they want to qualify for the games, of course.
And they want to qualify for the CrossFit Games. And guess what? It is not conducive to those ends for them to publish their workouts in any sort of public forum. It is actually going against their best interest for them to publish any of their workout videos, because instead what they could do is not publish any of their workout videos and place very, very well. And when the time comes for video review, they just submit a workout video of them doing that workout. They don't have to submit the exact same workout of that week. They can just redo the workout and submit that score. And I think that system, there's a lot of little issues here that need to be resolved. And I don't know what the answer is, but I definitely can see that I think that is the problem. It goes against their own self-interest to actually publish any of their videos.
I think it does and it doesn't. Perhaps it does right now, but I think that the eventual inevitability is that if they don't publish them now, they're going to have to publish them later, or rather they're just going to have to submit every single one. I don't know, but I feel like more and more that CrossFit's holding a more strict line at the top, at least this year more specifically, whereas in contrast to years in the past. And I think that with the video quality and the ease with which some people can video nowadays in comparison to 6 or 7 years ago, I think it's an inevitability, and those athletes that have nothing to hide should just start posting it. I think if they don't make it commonplace on their own, it's going to become commonplace anyways.
There certainly is no excuse, because I remember a time when the first Open that required video submissions, if you were going to qualify for regionals,
2013, 2012.
YouTube did not allow you to post videos
that
over
were
10 minutes long if you didn't have a long-standing account with them.
Yeah,
and so
there
were tons of people trying to publish videos of a 15-minute AMRAP.
They
could only get 10 minutes up at a time.
There are little to no excuses nowadays for not having a competent, quality video of your workout. Sorry, they're just. I mean, even for the least technologically savvy of among us, there really just isn't a lot of.
You hear that? No excuses, people. Now, speaking of no excuses, Justin, 60% of the way through the 2019 CrossFit Games Open, 2 weeks left, 19.4, 19.5. What do we have left to see here? I mean, off the top of my head, deadlifts, pull-ups, rope climbs, assault bike, running 4 miles potentially.
No, you know what? Here's a list of workouts that are movements that have shown up in every single CrossFit Open that have yet to have arrived in 2019. We've got chest to bar pull-ups, we've got thrusters, and we have muscle-ups. Now, muscle-ups is both ring and bar muscle-ups, because there's been some years that ring didn't show up one time. But anyways, those are your 3 movements. Those have been in every single Open so far: muscle-ups, thrusters, and chest to bar pull-ups. They've been in every Open. Fully expect them to be in this Open. I have no idea what we're going to see next year. However, I'm going to make a strong argument for something that we've never seen before. For the final workout, I'm going to call thrusters and muscle-ups.
Wow. Thrusters and muscle-ups in the same workout. Is that what you're saying you think 19.5 is going to be?
Yeah, let's take Fran up a notch.
All right. Here's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see an Open that for once does not have thrusters in it. I'm going to make a real wild call here. And I'm going to say that the 2019 CrossFit Games Open won't include thrusters in the final workout. And I'm also going to say that one of the workouts is going to be strict Amanda.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got burpees, snatches, we've got box jumps. These are all common movements that have shown up repeatedly year over year. They just haven't been in every single one.
What do you think is the possibility that we see not just the curveball that was the strict handstand push-up, that was, sort of taking the 2019 Games Open up a notch. What do you think the possibility is we see yet another curveball?
Well, look, I mean, it's the Open. I would always expect a curveball in everything, right? But you can take a look at the types of workouts we've seen. We've seen a high aerobic capacity AMRAP. We've seen a earn your barbell style workout or a buy-in workout. So you got to prove your fitness to get to the heavy barbell. If you can't lift, you don't get to go on. We've seen that kind of workout. Now we've seen a heavy gymnastics, a triplet workout, or chipper style workout.
Here's the big turn that I think that CrossFit Games Open has yet to take, which I think it would really benefit if it did take, which is combining specific movements. For example, the burpee muscle up. I think the burpee muscle up could show up in the Open and truly be a game changer in the way that we see athletes being tested, because everyone is practicing multiple sets and reps of muscle ups. I mean, you and I, we're doing sets of like 25, 40, 65 in a row sometimes. I mean, just over and over and over again.
Right. Exactly. Right.
All right. So now that we have all of that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about something that I know that both of us are very, very excited about, and that is Dublin, Ireland, 19.5. Justin, we're going to be there.
Yeah, this is going to be super exciting. This is, I got to see my first live Open announcement just last week when I was up at Diablo CrossFit for 19.3, and you and I are going to be in Dublin. Going to be doing a pre-show. We're going to be talking about the Open so far, and we're going to be behind the scenes all day sort of bringing you live action, through our social channels, through a live blog and other things like that. And just this is super cool. I'm really excited for this. This is a huge opportunity for us to just kind of be behind the scenes like that, and it's definitely going to be a unique experience.
Yeah, I'm very pumped to be able to, one, contribute to a very cool event organizer's situation here. That's the Filthy 150. It's an event that you and I both are really excited about seeing as one of the sanctioned events. And they're going to be hosting 19.5 Open announcement in Dublin, Ireland. It's going to be super cool. They've asked us to be there to do an hour-long pre-show.
On the minute it goes on the road.
On the minute it goes on the road. And we're going to not only be doing the pre-show, but we're also going to be offering some hot takes right off the bat once the workout is announced.
Giving away some whiskey, I believe.
We're going to be giving away some whiskey, some choice Jameson that you can only get through us, I think is what we're going to say. We're going to say it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. You can only get
exclusive
it
distributors. Yeah.
And it's just going to be a great time. We're really excited to be a part of it. I can't tell you guys how pumped I am to, one, go visit Dublin, Ireland, and two, be a part of that live announcement. So you guys will be able to watch that on the Filthy 150 Facebook, on the CrossFit Games page, all over that, all of that. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff out there. And I know Justin is just as excited as I am. Now, Justin, I know that you beat me at 19.3 and you beat me pretty badly, but I'm going to come back from this. Okay.
I don't know, man. I think the cat's in the bag now, because
we're 3 weeks in. We've tied once, and then each of us has one W.
That's fair enough.
This is going to come down to the
technically
wire.
That's a tie.
This is going to come down to the wire. This is rough. We have 2 weeks left, and we have to decide. We have to figure out which one of us is the fitter one. So, on the minute goes on the road, and then we're going to go. We're going to go head to head and figure this out in Dublin, Ireland. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. That has been an episode of On the Minute. I'm Armin Hammer. That is Justin LaFranco. Good luck with 19.4. See you guys next week.
See ya.